Hi everyone, welcome back to the Power of a Hobby. I'm your host, Tom Fenton, and I'm joined by another guest. Hi Adrian, how are you?
Morning, Dom. I'm really good, mate. You?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the podcast.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
For people who don't know who you are, please introduce yourself and what you do.
Okay, my name is Adrian Cuthill. I'm a multi-business owner. I own three companies: Rugby Tots Essex, which is a franchise for children aged 2 to 7 years old. I own part owner of a multi-sport company along with this person here called Multi Sports for Schools. We're a company that delivers sports coaching in schools. We deliver holiday camps on behalf of Active Essex, Department of Education. There's three sites through Essex. We do birthday parties, off school clubs, and a number of other different ranges of things from special educational needs to mainstream schools to specialist coaching. And the last one is the magical game of Dragon Ball, which I'm a director with one of our best friends, Jenny Leggett. I think most of you here will probably know what Dragon Ball is by now. You may have heard of it. The multi-skill, multi-ability, fully inclusive sport for anyone, from able-bodied to anybody that is, well, basically physical disability, maybe have learning difficulties, etc. Anyone will play on the same pitch together. So that is essentially me, apart from a father of three, etc., etc.
Yeah, so actually, when we talk about hobbies, hobbies are quite important.
Hobbies are very important. Very important. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
first question that I ask everyone that comes on: what does the power of a hobby mean to you?
How the hobby, how the hobby basically means to me is it is my escape. It is also my identity. It's brought to me everything which I'm doing now. The power of the hobby has started off something which is a passion, and it goes from that passion to being something probably even more powerful than that.
And I think as well, as I say, for those who don't know, we've known each other a long time, and actually, it was this hobby that actually we met on and were introduced to each other on, and everything else, and that was probably a good, I'd say, 20.
It's going to be 25
20
years.
yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
Yeah,
probably 20, 25 years now, isn't it?
round about that.
Yeah, and you're right. I talk a lot about, and I suppose in some ways we've got the same similar hobbies anyway.
Mm.
Um, but it is an identity. It does
Yep.
become your identity. It does become who you are and what you do, and initially how you live your life.
Yeah, I think it is. It's something which, no matter how many times you walk away from it, you still end up going back to it because it's what you do and who you are, and it's where you feel most comfortable. It's where your friendship groups lie, and even I mean, even with where we're talking about the people that we played with, we worked with, we socialized with, have all moved on with their families, etc. There are other people there, but the identity is still the same. And you still go back to there and you meet other people who have exactly the same type of mindset.
So, Adrian, for those who don't know, then what is your hobby?
My hobby is rugby union, which is my favourite sport.
The best,
You
the
might not
best
know.
sport, the best sport in the world. The best
Absolutely,
sport in the world.
absolutely.
So, and the thing is, we could talk hours. We do talk hours every day about this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, in terms of rugby, why don't you tell people how you started, when it started, and just go a little bit into what you've done through rugby.
Okay. The journey has been long, fruitful, and very rewarding. It started off, and it's actually quite a powerful little story, this one. Being in Essex, and I was living in Witham, all my friends play football, and they all went to a football club. I went to join that football club as well. Never got picked, never got chosen, never played for the side, never really understood why I didn't have the same skill sets as everybody else, couldn't develop the same way as everybody else. Just gave up. Didn't want to play, didn't want to know. But that was probably about 8, 9, 10 years old. Kind of moving on to when I went to senior school. So at senior school, start PE. The first term is rugby. Never played rugby before. Always followed it because My family are always rugby orientated. For those who don't know, Scottish as well. So we've got Scotland top on today, so you've got to bring them one out. I know you guys got further, but like that. Anyway, so my family are very passionate about their rugby. My dad played scrum half for his schools, Dundee Old Boys, which is actually a really quite a good level Scottish rugby team based in Dundee. Yeah, 12 years old, introduced to rugby. We had 3 rugby masters at my senior school, which was Bramston, Witham, and basically I was introduced. I was a short, fat kid, so they go play hooker. Like, no idea what it was. I had no idea what I was doing. So when I did that, and those days they chucked you into a scrum. Go and get on with it, and absolutely loved it. Right from the outset, absolutely loved it. No idea what I was doing, but absolutely loved it. And it involved hitting things. It involved collisions, carrying the ball, running the ball with my hand, which I found really comfortable. And it kind of went from there. We did a school, we did tours of Wales, we did tours of Yorkshire, and we were a pretty good side as well. Had some good players in there, and we just really enjoyed playing. So that carried on for a couple of years, and then there was teachers stopped teaching extracurricular activities, so we couldn't do rugby anymore in school for after school stuff. So all that Saturday stuff stopped. And then 16 years old, I was working in a local factory somewhere, and there were some guys working next door. One of them was a builder, a guy called Jeff Babs. And this is all his fault, by the way. Bless his heart. He's passed now, but my God, the bloke's a legend. And anybody from Witham Rugby Club knows what I'm talking about. I got talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, why don't you come down and play with him?" I was like, "Okay." So I went and played at Witham. Started there, 16 years old, in front row. But Witham 13 wouldn't happen nowadays. You know, I played in front row until you're 18. At least a competitive game anyway. And that's where it all started. Witham 13 kind of went on from there. Moved up the ranks up to Witham first team. Got to a point of that I needed to move on with my rugby. And I was spending an awful lot of time in Chelmsford, moved to Chelmsford. And then I got involved with Chelmsford. I think the first game was Chelmsford 13. So started training on Tuesday night. Very intimidating, seeing all these guys running around like 40, 50 blokes hurtling into each other. Different standard. Started from Chelmsford 13. Played one game for them. And they put me at tie head prop. I'd played prop before. I don't know what I was doing really, but absolutely annihilated the bloke opposite me. And then moved into Chelmsford second 15. A guy called Mark Peacock was the captain that year when we first started up. You were playing first team at that time. Well, quite as good as you. And it really went on from there. So started playing Chelmsford. Then I think disappeared for a couple of years with kids, etc., etc. Came back again. This is really the path I'm talking about. You can't keep away. You go away, you come back. Go away, come back. And this guy was running the Chelmsford second 15 as captain. We had a very successful season.
I think we did all right. Yeah,
we did all right. Yeah. Then I think you stepped down as captain. I took over as captain, and had 2 more really successful seasons. Some very good players. And then with kids, etc., they started going to the point that I wanted to start to give something back. So my eldest one wanted to play rugby, so I went to the minis, started coaching under 7s upwards, went through the ranks up to about under 14, under 15s, and then kind of stepped back with work, etc., going on. In the meantime, another pathway opened up because my job, I was working in insurance, and it came to a point that absolutely hating my job, and I don't use the word hate very often. And I'd done my coaching qualifications and was thinking there's got to be a way which I can earn from my passion. There's got to be a way which I can use that with the giving back, but do something which I really enjoy and then get paid for it as well. So I bought the Rugby Tots franchise, started that up in 2016, built that up, and then Dom and I got talking a couple of years later about multi-sports when we were introduced to another coach who was struggling with his business in the Belgium area. We got talking to him and basically took over that side of the business, took his clients, etc., from him with his agreement, and started building multi-sports from what was a couple of schools, doing some PE and some after school clubs to basically all the holiday clubs now that we do. We've got a lot more schools that we've been involved with. We're working with special educational needs, basically with all our connections traveling around the country, delivering sport. with that as well. So again, I've got connections with Penathlon as well. I work with now, so now delivering sport around the country, working with children with special educational needs, taking Draggable into schools, doing exactly the same thing. So really, that all started off at 12 years old with a little bit of passion for.
And this is, and I think this is the thing. It's really interesting because obviously, and our paths are very similar. And we've ended up where we are and the work that we do and all these sort of things. But I could never imagine when I started playing rugby at 5 years old in Chelmsford that I'd be doing what I do now. And it stemmed from being involved in a sports club. So could what did you want to do when you were younger? Did you imagine that? At what point did you think actually I could actually turn this hobby into something more?
It's called middle-life crisis. When I was younger, I wanted to go into the RAF. I was first of all to be a pilot, and now I was going to go into the RAF regiment. Initially, I was going to do, and then I was going to go into university to study geological engineering, which never happened. Mainly because at that point you were given a grant. It was all based upon your parents' income. My parents are just a little bit above where we couldn't get a grant for me to go to uni, so they had to pay full whack for me going. So they said no. So went to find a job, which was fine. I never really thought then really that you could do something where you could turn your passion into something which you really enjoy, because basically all the conversation within my side of the family was you find a job in the city, you go to the city, you got the money in the city, that's the best place you go, is what you do. Never any conversation about what do you actually want to do? What is it you got your passion for? And sport has always been there, from going to the gym. Everything revolved around rugby. If I went to the gym, I was specifically trained to play rugby. If I went for a run, it's because I wanted to improve my conditioning for playing rugby. It was all there. I just didn't read the signs until I was a lot older. Pretty stupid. It takes a long time for things to get into my head. So it took a while for it to do it, but it's probably 2012, 2013. I'd already done my qualifications, thinking I'm really not enjoying what I'm actually doing for my career. We got to the point as a family where my wife was starting to work, but I couldn't do before because Helen wasn't working. She was looking after the kids, and that was the decision we made. We were very lucky that we could do that. It was once Helen started working that I suddenly thought, well, hang on a second. Everybody else I know is doing something they love doing, and I'm doing something I really don't like, just get paid for it. At that point, it's like, do I want to sit in front of a computer screen for the next 30 years just waiting for somebody to pay me? And that, I mean, is no control of mine. There's no control here for me whatsoever. And I got to the point of thinking, I really don't want to do that. And I use an analogy that I don't want to be the dog waiting for somebody to feed me. And that was quite a powerful moment for me, where I saw myself, all I'm doing is waiting for somebody just to feed me. And I was like, I need to find a different way in which I can actually improve that. And that was a real powerful, that was the light bulb moment of thinking, no, I've had enough of this. I need to find a different way to do it. And it's to do something which you truly, really enjoy doing. And with the passion thing, I could really make a big difference somewhere. And just to have that thing where you have a legacy, you think there's got to be a reason behind what you're doing. Rather than you work in the city for 40 years, someone gives you a gold pen, thinks, right, thanks very much, buys you a couple of bottles of beer and says, bye. That for me is sad. For some people, that's what they want to do, and they're really happy with it. Don't have a problem with that. I couldn't do that. Couldn't do that. It's that for me was like, no, that's not an identity. It's not a way. When you come to the end and you look back on things and you think to yourself, what have I done? What have I achieved? What have I managed to do all the way through? Which also sounds a bit morbid, but it's definitely the way which it drives you to think, like, you need to achieve stuff. You need to go out there and actually drive yourself and have that little bit of passion. That's what it's been, and certainly the last couple of years has certainly been that with ticking stuff off as you're going on. So
and we obviously, being part of the circuit, I completely get it. But for anyone, we talk a lot about going back. So when I got made redundant, I went back playing rugby. When I got divorced, I went back to play rugby. Again, coached with yourself, played rugby on the same team. What I think it's very unique to rugby. What do you, for anyone who doesn't really necessarily understand rugby or the mentality in terms of the club and what it does. What do you think it is about rugby that makes people go back, or not even go back, just don't leave it?
You never leave it. You never leave it. It's the community. It's the community behind it. It's that there's a feeling when you walk into a clubhouse, and all of a sudden you go, "Ah," and you feel fine, and you can have a drink, you can have a coke, a coffee, and for me, as you know this as well, I can walk into most rugby clubs in the county, and probably quite a few around Kent and Hertfordshire, Suffolk, where I'll walk in there and there'll be somebody there I know I can have a beer with. As somebody I can have a chat with. And it's just that community feeling that you can always walk in there, you know somebody, and you may not have seen them for ages, but you still have a lovely conversation with them. It's the thing where you play the game and you play a hard game. You know, you go out there and you work as hard as you can, you play as hard as you can. At the end of it, the other team come into the bar and everybody has a chat. The referee comes to the bar and you have a chat, and everybody's got that passion for playing, and everybody's got that little all the little things that happen in the game. Some things you might not have realised or recognised, and it just is a really warm, glowing feeling of just community and belonging. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to explain it. I can't think of a better way to explain it, to be fair.
Yeah, and I think as well, you know, I remember going back and being on having grown up playing from the age of 5. And I remember going on a plane journey to America when I was about probably early 20s.
Yeah.
And I sat on the plane, and behind me was someone I used to play against in the opposition. And it was 10, 12 years after. And we ended up just chatting for the whole time on the plane going to America.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you just don't, you build that connection.
Yeah. Oh, it's happened with the coaching as well. There's a coach that he used to be at Brentwood when the kids were playing through the mini section. So we started off under 7s all the way through. He coached the way through. He turned up the ladies' game the other week as a referee. And he's again, oh, hi, John, nice to see you again. How are you? And boom, went straight back again. You know, it's been 10 years. And it's just really nice. And that thing with the coach, going, oh, who's that? Oh, well, we used to coach with him. It's that whole thing of, and it's very much, and I think as you go through the years playing, you realise it's not so much about your club, it's about the whole rugby thing.
Yeah.
Where you start recognising people from other clubs. It doesn't matter what club. It's not a tribal thing. It's just very much a connection thing. And we've got the same thing now with mixed ability rugby, which we started up. So again, still going back and doing other things. So we start with mixed ability rugby at the club. But this is an amalgamation, a combination with another club. And basically we're saying to the players, if you're not playing with us, go and play with them. And it's actually going and saying, it doesn't matter what team you play for, we just want you to play.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a beautiful part of the sport. You know, the amount of guys you see now, the amount of people, men and women, who, if they haven't got a game, another team could ask for players and they'll just go and play for them.
Yep.
I don't think you'll see that in many other sports.
No. Oh, God, no. It's very much silo.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful part of that game. Right, final question. If someone came up to you and went, I really want a hobby, but I haven't got one, what would you say to them?
I would say, right, come down, just introduce yourself to the club, come and walk in. We'll be there, come and shake a hand. We'll introduce you to everyone. We'll introduce you to the people behind the bar. We'll introduce you to the head coach. We'll introduce the captains and slowly integrate you into the team. You'll be very welcome, and there's no expectation, is probably the right word, of what we want you to do. Just come down and play. And there's a game for everyone. There was a game for everyone there, from the third 15 to there's touch rugby, there is third 15 rugby, vets rugby, and ladies rugby, girls rugby. So we've got the mixed ability now, and there's something there for everyone. And it's probably the most welcoming place you'd go to, and you should go for a chat. Literally before I talked to you, I was talking to one of the coaches. But literally 5 minutes beforehand, where it's just that real community thing where you'll build relationships, and there's just guys there from all sorts of walks of life are there to support you.
Amazing. Adrian, where can people find you if they want to get hold of you, or they want to see more about you, or find out more about what you do?
Yeah.
Where can they find more
Right.
out?
Yeah, I know you mean. Right. I've got my personal Facebook page, Instagram, and on Twitter as well. So Adrian Cuthill on there. We also have multi-sports for schools. We have our Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. We've got a Twitter page now on there as well. And the same with Dragon Ball as well. So look them all up. They're all up on there. Multi-sports for schools. I've got a web page, multisportsschools.co.uk. Dragon Ball is dragonball.uk.com. Rugby Tots is rugbytots.co.uk. All the information's up there for you. Contact details there for you guys as well. If you're interested in playing community rugby, Chelmsford Rugby Club, look them up on the website. All the information's on there. We've got loads of things on the social media all the time about what the club are actually doing. So again, go and have a look. Any young kids there, especially who would like to get into rugby, worried about getting into playing for a team, come along to the mixed ability. That's what it's there for as well, to introduce you, and then you can make a decision on what pathway you want to take from there.
Amazing. You are one busy man. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks everybody else for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you again on the Power of a Hobby. Thanks very much. Take care now. Bye-bye.